How to not be the gym bro when manifesting. First, what is a gym bro? Because a lot of you guys might not be into gym culture, but the gym bro is the guy that goes in there. It's the majority of people that go into the gym and they will blindly follow a new trend. They will sit there. They don't have a consistent routine. They don't know why what they're doing is working. They'll go to the gym for 3 hours and push a bunch of weight, but they'll get results. Okay, but they don't know why they're getting the results. They plateau a lot. They have to try a bunch of new things. They're always having self-doubt because they don't know why they're growing. And it leads to a lot of people thinking they're silly, especially the people that have elevated above them. The people that know why what they're doing is working. And now, in manifestation, how do you avoid being the gym bro? And first off, let's look at these pictures. They are amazing. I mean, could you draw a better picture than this? But first, the gym bro over here, he is ego lifting. He's got weight that's 100 pounds. He's obviously not big enough to lift that, and he looks a lot worse than that guy. He goes in there and breaks his arm right here because he's ego lifting. He's going in and pushing a lot of weight. He's doing the most to get the least. And then this guy right here who, I mean, look at him. He goes to the gym. He's only in there for 30 minutes. He's got huge muscles. Look at the leg muscles, the biceps. Look at his hair. I mean, he just looks, he's effortlessly good. You could call this guy the Chad of working out, and this is the gym bro. In manifesting, a lot of people are the gym bro. They go and they do a lot of hard work to get the least. They do the most to get the bare minimum. Maybe to manifest a text from their SP, they'll sit, they hear, oh, you need to affirm all day. And what will they do? They'll go and affirm all day. They'll have no social life. They won't get out of their head. They're being like, oh, I need to do this. And they'll do it all day. And they might get results, but they don't know why they're getting the results, which means the results will never come in all the time. They have a lot of place for doubts to pop up because they don't know why. They're not confident in their own abilities. They're hope manifesting, like a lot of people, like the gym bros. They go to the gym and they hope they're going to grow. They don't actually know why they're growing, which is why gains will never stay for this person. And for this person, it's effortless. But a lot of people go towards the gym bro, one, because it is the majority in manifesting. Teachers will always talk about the new technique, what is fancy. They will always be gravitated towards that because they don't know what actually works. So it's like, oh man, this is what's going to work for me. Finally it's going to click. Finally, I'm going to get what I desire. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But the majority of people teach like this, which is why they look like this. And then you have Chad over here who does the same thing every day. He knows why it works. He's not flashy. He's not changing it up because why would you change it up if it works? And life is very simple, whether it's going to the gym or manifesting. You need to know why it works. And once you know why, everything clicks. You never have to ask, why isn't this working? Because you know. You never have to sit there and doubt whether you're going to get what you want because you know. And that's the key difference here. We do not want to be the gym bro in manifesting. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to avoid looking like this and actually becoming Chad over here. So let's go on to the next board. So how does the gym bro manifest? As we talked about in the intro, the gym bro is the guy who, everyone kind of looks down upon that are advanced in the gym, right? And those are the guys that come in there, they do the most, they don't know why stuff works, they'll go and throw a bunch of weight around, they'll do a bunch of shit. They don't have, they don't have the recipe to how to build muscle. And some of them will get results, some of them won't. And the guys that get results, they don't know why they get results. They hit plateaus a lot faster. They don't have the awareness behind why what they're doing works. And that's a big problem because you come into the ego when that happens, and the ego will try to give you all these reasons why it's not working, and then you will turn on yourself. Now, what are the qualities of the gym bro? Now, they do the most to get the bare minimum. Like I said, they will go and they'll work out for 4 hours straight. They'll go shove a bunch of weight, and they'll grow because of the mass volume, but they don't know what they're doing that is growing. And if you could grow the same amount in 30 minutes of working out, why wouldn't you do that? It's because they don't know how, okay? They don't know why the stuff they're doing works. Again, they're doing stuff blindly. They don't know why what they're doing is working, and that always creates an issue. It allows doubt to creep in because, again, you don't know the why. You're just blindly doing, and when you're blindly doing, the ego will always trap you and you don't know how to get out of it. It's flashy. They do flashy stuff. They're always chasing the next best workout, the next best meal plan, the next best X, Y, and Z. You get what I'm trying to say. They are flashy, and that is a hold of the ego. The ego likes new things. It likes challenges. It doesn't like to be bored. It does not like repetitive shit. Now, examples of this when it comes to manifesting are as follows. So, number one is affirming all day, every day, and affirming could just be used as techniques in general. But if you are affirming all day, every day, as these people like to tell you to do, it's like, oh, you need to persist, you need to do this, you need to affirm all day, you need to saturate your mind. And they'll go and do that, and some will get results and some won't, or they'll get scattered results. They don't know why they're getting the results, and they're putting the power into the technique instead of themselves. And I'm going to show you why that's wrong here on the next whiteboard. But another example of what they do is blindly follow trends. Okay, they will go and they will follow, like, oh, the new best technique, or they will hear somebody say, oh, affirming doesn't work anymore, and they will blindly accept that. And again, why do they do this? Why are they accepting something that they might have done and it worked, but they're accepting it as true? Because they don't know why anything works. And when you don't have the knowledge of the why, you don't know what is working, so you're always questioning yourself. You don't have a firm, stable ground to stand on. And when it comes to manifesting and dealing with leaving an old version of yourself, it is very difficult because that means it is easy to trick you into your old awareness again. It's very easy. And the last thing that this person is doing is they are constantly chasing, okay? They are going after something they do not have. They're like, oh, I need to do this, to do this. They're all up in arms. I think they have to do more. They're chasing success. And while we know in manifestation, chasing is repellent because you need to have it internally before it happens externally. And when you're constantly chasing something, it's very hard to get it. It's easier to get a butterfly to come to you than to go and catch a butterfly. And when you are doing all these things, it leads to a path of ignorance. You don't know why anything is happening. You don't know truly what it is you're doing. And yet most people do this and they'll get results and then they'll flaunt it. And again, they don't know the why, but the majority of people are like this. And if you want to have an extraordinary life, you need to have an extraordinary mind. You cannot do what everyone else is doing to think you're going to get above them and where they are in reality, which is average. If you listen to average people give average advice, you will become average. And we don't want that. We want to excel. We want to do the least to get the most, not do the most to get the bare minimum. We do not want the bare minimum, which means we don't want to affirm all day, every day. We don't want to blindly follow trends, and we do not want to chase because these are all aspects of the gym bro. And it comes from the ego. The ego loves to follow new trends. It likes to try new things. It likes to think hard work equals success, as in affirming all day, and it loves to chasing. It loves to look at reality, how it is on the outside, and that's not how it works. Now you know the qualities of the gym bro manifester, but how do you actually get away from that? How do you evolve to become the Chad? You know, the guy who goes to the gym for 30 minutes, he looks amazing. Everything in his life is effortless. I know you want to be that, and I'm going to show you how to get there. So let's go over to the next board. How to be the Chad when manifesting. So we've already went over what the meathead, the guy that goes in the gym just throws it around. We don't want to be that guy. So we know how to not be that guy, but how do we actually be the guy that gets the results with minimal effort? That's what everybody wants, and this is the correct way to manifest or do anything in life. So what are the qualities of this person? They know why stuff works. And because they know why stuff works, especially the most important thing, which is how to control your inner world, they do the least to get the most. Because they're effective with their time, not only internally, but externally, which draws people to this person. But the reason why a lot of people do not gravitate towards this person is because they're not sparkly. they're kind of boring because they just do what they need to do. They're not saying, oh, this new fancy technique. And the ego draws us to this stuff, not only because it loves, new challenges, it loves new stuff. The ego does not like being bored, but to keep you the old version of yourself. And you don't want to be that. You want to expand. You want to do the least to get the most. Now, a lot of people will go and, like the ego lifter, he will go and do all these techniques all day. But why do the technique works? Again, they know the people we're trying to be, which is the Chad, the guy who does the least to get the most. They know why stuff works. So why do techniques work? Well, I'll show you. So they are tools to train your awareness. Now, everybody will tell you, you need to do techniques. You need to do this, you need to do that. But techniques are just tools to train your awareness. Without awareness, techniques would not work. And it's a lot of the reason why you could be doing a technique for months and it doesn't work, because you don't know why they work. And you're mindlessly doing them and putting all the power into the technique. And when the technique doesn't work, you say, oh, this technique doesn't work for me, until there's no techniques left. Until there's nothing left to work for you. And it's because you don't know why. And they work because of awareness. So, how do we use blank effectively? How to effectively use our awareness. So I'm going to draw a diagram real quick to show you, like, basically how to look at what awareness you're coming into life with. It's very simple. So you start off with your current reality. That's what CR means. Current reality, you go to your identity, which is a part of your awareness. I'll kind of go over that here in a little bit. Which identity always goes to your new reality, because we know the inner world portrays to the outer world. So it always starts with current reality, goes to your identity, which then goes to your new reality. So you see something you do not like. For example, let's say you get an eviction notice, right? That is your current reality. You have two choices. You have two places to stand at right now. And there are the do have and the don't have. So you can say, oh no, my rent's paid. I'm comfortably living in my apartment. Or you can say, I don't. Now the whole point of this is to actually have internally. Identity, you cannot trick your identity. You cannot trick your awareness. If you're sitting there and thinking, oh, I have to do this to get, instead of I am to be, the person who thinks, oh, I have to go and say this internally to get externally, that's coming from the awareness of not having. Because if you already had it, you would not be thinking in terms of I have to do to get this thing, because if you had it, you'd already have it. And if you are the only person who can give it to yourself, because your internal world creates your external, then you're the only person who can take it away, and you take it away with your own awareness, not the techniques, not the lack of techniques, your awareness. Your identity, who you're identifying as being. And whatever chair that you decide to sit down, whether it's the do have or the don't have, it always leads to your new reality. Wow. You know how simple this is? How to effectively use your awareness. And awareness is truly what manifests, because the techniques you're using use awareness. They're tools to train your awareness on having something. And this is how to effectively use your awareness, is to use this simple formula. Very, very simple. Now, a lot of you guys will ask, what are certain ways to use your awareness effectively? I'm going to teach you. These are techniques that you can do to train your awareness, not for the fact of getting, but the fact of experiencing, remembering who you are. You don't need to do them, but if you want to do a technique, if you're feeling the need to experience it inward, this is what you need to do. So really the big three here is affirm, visualize, or script. Affirming is literally just thoughts. what you were thinking to be true. I would suggest you do this in a state where your conscious mind is shut off, so you're not having like this kind of back and forth going. Just go online and search up like meditation sounds, like theta specifically. Theta opens the subconscious mind. The subconscious is the key to identity, okay? Now, do you need to do this stuff? No. You can literally just make a decision and say, I am this, and then do not deny it, okay? Always sitting in the chair of I do have instead of the I don't. Or you can visualize, which is going and creating an internal scene and looping it. That's another way to effectively use awareness if you want to use a technique. And the last one is scripting. It's literally like real life Photoshop. You go and you basically change your awareness to things that are happening throughout the day. I think this is mandatory because if you experience something that you do not want, why are you going to continue experiencing it within? You need to be changing your awareness. And that's literally just what scripting is, real life Photoshop. You experience a bill, okay? Instead of like freaking out, let's say you freaked out, you change that in your awareness, be like, oh no, why would I freak out? Because I always have the money to pay this bill, instead of coming from the mindset of I don't have. You go to the I do have. Now, a lot of you guys will really like to break down of actually how we use our awareness and how we get from step one to our desired reality. And this is really what it comes down to. It's very simple. So you start off here at energy, you go to frequency, you go to intuition, which leads to your action or inaction, which leads to reality. What is your energy and what actually makes this up? It is quite simply this. Your thoughts and emotions. Now, a lot of you guys will hear emotions and get freaked out. Be like, oh, if I'm having a negative emotion, is that going to slow the fuck down? Let me explain. Before you get ahead of yourself in your head. So thoughts and emotions. Thoughts are basically just thoughts. That could be visualizing, that could be affirming, scripting. It could just be you telling yourself something. You don't have to sit there and do this all day. And emotions are just thoughts that actually change your inner state of being. For example, if you're freaking out and you're like stressed out over a bill, a thought that would change your emotion is just something that would change your state, which is your inner awareness. If you're saying a thought and you're still sitting there like tweaking out, it's probably not the correct thought or the use of your awareness to change it, and you should try something else. Okay, now you don't have to do that, but again, you want something that changes your internal state because you would change if you already had it. Okay? Now, bad emotions are not going to ruin your manifestation, but it is a key to use this as an indicator on what you're actually focusing on. Now that leads over into frequency. What is frequency? Frequency is literally just your identity, which can be, chopped down into what is true in your subconscious mind. And with that, the identity of who you are is always going to lead to reality, but your energy is a tool that you can use to actually change your identity. So you go from identity to what? Intuition. What is intuition? It is the intuition, the inner teaching from your identity, from whatever version of you that you are being internally. It's giving you instructions on how to get to your reality, whatever reality that is. If you have the identity of poverty, then no matter what, your intuition, which is like the thoughts that naturally occur in your head, your mental nudges, what you or other people in, relation to whatever reality that you're building need to do for you to get. It's the inner teaching of you and everyone else around you to whatever your identity is. Again, if it's poverty, you'll get the intuition of poverty, which leads to the action or inaction of poverty, which is the action or inaction of you or others in relation to you, which will always lead to your reality. So the meatheads in here, the ego lifters of manifestation, or the gym bros, they will always go to action or inaction. They will put all of their life into this field right here. Now, if you know that energy is the start of this, which leads to your identity, which really pushes you down the line to reality, the gym bros, they're going straight to action / inaction. They're going straight to, I'm going to do this technique to get. And we know if we do to get, you're saying, I do not have in your energy. Your frequency, your identity is saying, I don't have. Your intuition is that of I don't have. And which leads to the action or inaction, which isn't important in a sense. You could be doing the same action or inaction here, but lead to a different reality because your frequency, your identity is off. So those guys might be able to trick their mind with how much action they have because they're saying so many affirmations. They might be able to trick their mind, but they don't know that as soon as they stop doing that technique, they're going to lose it because they've never changed who they are. They put all the power into the technique. This is why you need to know why techniques work. You're not putting the power into the techniques. And when you do, when you stop doing them subconsciously, you're telling yourself you don't have it because you said the techniques you get, but they don't. Your awareness does. So even if you have it or you don't, you can always be aware of who you are. And that is true manifestation. It becomes effortless when you know this. So if you know that it starts with energy, which leads to your identity, and identity pushes you down the pipeline to your desired reality, if you have the energy, the thoughts and emotions of wealth, that might lead to your identity of wealth, which leads to the intuition, the mental nudges of yourself and others, and the action or inaction of yourself and others, which leads you to the reality of wealth every single time. You might be able to force reality to change momentarily, but if you're coming from the energy of poverty, you are taking action of poverty. Okay, it doesn't matter what action you do, you could be doing the correct action, but energy and frequency trumps reality, and you could, again, go get a little bit of like security in the 3D, changing it momentarily, but you always come back to whatever your energy and your identity is, which is why you need to do the least to get the most instead of doing the most to get the least, because when you do the most here, it doesn't matter if you're not focusing on what actually creates reality. Which is why this person will go to the gym, unlike the gym bro, and go and get big muscles while doing the least, and why the people that you aspire to be, that you're following, do the same thing. They'll go and they'll do a shit ton. The new technique, blah, 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 and they don't teach you anything. But if you really want to manifest effortlessly, you need to start with your energy and frequency. And when you focus on this, everything else becomes ridiculously easy. You put in the least amount to get the most. Now, this might not please your ego as much because it's very, very easy. It's not a challenge. Manifestation is not challenging. Like if you think it is, then you're coming from the energy and the frequency that manifestation is challenging, which will lead you to a reality where it's challenging. This is why all these people that are coming out with these new techniques, they spark desire with the ego, with the human mind, but we don't want to deal with that. We want to get to our desired reality, and the quickest way to do that is to take everything in your life and start from the front, which is the energy and frequency, which makes everything easier. You will always do least to get the most. Now, you know exactly what to do. You know how to be the Chad. You know how to manifest effortlessly now, and you'll never be the gym bro again when manifesting. And honestly, if you know this and you're still having issues, all you have to do is look at where your energy and what your identity is. If life is showing you repeatedly something that you don't like, and you're trying to do something to get, it will never change. We know that your energy and your frequency trump everything in reality, and this is where you should be focusing on. You do that by just telling yourself something is true. If you want to do a technique, the techniques to use is to affirm, visualize, and script. Again, we're not doing techniques to get, we're doing techniques as a tool. As we know here, they're a tool to train our awareness. Awareness is true manifestation, because no matter what you see current reality, it goes to your identity. You either have it or you do not have it. And that always leads to your new identity. Having or not having identity is always through awareness. And awareness is always here at the start with energy and frequency. Awareness is not here in action or inaction. If you are trumping action is the most important thing in your life, you will always suffer because your energy and frequency are running the show in the background. To not have it run the show in the background, you need to effectively use your awareness, and we know that by going current reality, it always goes in your identity, which goes to your new reality. Has it clicked yet? I'm assuming it has. Now you know how not to be the gym bro in manifesting. Go and get your desired realities. I am out of here.